how did we get started? Well, it was 1961, in the early spring. We had a meeting here at the San Luis Rey Mission, and there was a fellow named George Muskowski. He was a master sergeant in the Marine Corps. And he had some great ideas about the horse track coming down the hill. Well, they really just laughed him out of there. But George went back and he got a hold of me and Hal Barker and Colonel Ace Bowen, Camp Pendleton, and we all got a hold of somebody else. And we had our first meeting in the little schoolhouse right over there. And then we had officers, elected officers, brought the club together, and then we went to work. Well, the mission had really been losing money every year on their fiesta because they couldn't draw a crowd. Well, when about 125 horses came over that hill with a lot of publicity through the TVs and papers, why, this place was, you couldn't even find a place to park. Okay, the Pogus Lake, and that'll be where we meet. Then ride from there down along, go onto the railroad track at Pogus Cross, underpass. Go out on Pogus Beach, then we ride down the beach all the way to Santa Margarita River. Then we turn out, and then we come up the river. Well, they've kind of got us restricted anymore on account of the birds. You know, we can't disturb the birds, so we come on up to clear up the 22 area and cross over there and then ride over the mountain down to the rodeo ground. It's about a 25-mile ride, so that'll be a Friday ride. Then we spend the night there, Friday night. Then Saturday, have a ride on the base. Then Saturday night, we'll have a dance floor and live band and all the whoop-de-law and a lot of fun. Then Sunday, we can't ride in here no more like we used to, so we have to trailer in here, and the mission furnished a place up here to park, and so that's where I park, and I had to put our costumes on, and then ride over to Davy Jones's ranch. One time Davy owned all that down there, the whole hill and everything, and down here too, but he sold a lot of it off. But he's good enough to let us use his property and his facility to dress there and wait, and then go up the hill and come back down around Serpentine into the mission. And it's a very touching thing to ride in here and see the people when I come in, bring the group in, when I go back, but I come back in, and you see a lot of people where the bells are ringing and the flags are flying and whatever, and their tears running down their eyes. It must be a very touching thing to watch this.
There's a lot that's required before you need to head out. There's a lot of preparation work. Usually it starts the day before. For a ride like this, where we're going to be gone for about 3 days, we need to start with getting the horses washed up so they look pretty good. Make sure all your tack is in good condition, such as your leather bridles and halters, making sure they're all oiled and nothing's cracked and that all your snaps work, so that you're going to be able to function safely on a ride such as this. You'd want to make sure your horses have good shoes on them. For a ride like this, where you're going over various terrain, you have a steel shoe on the bottom of the hoof that will make it easier for them across all the rocks and stuff where we're going to ride. Today's ride will be pretty easy. We're going down the beach most of the way, and so it's soft for them. But then again, you got to watch out that you don't bow a tendon because it's too soft. The different parts of the equipment that we use, some of the optional equipment would be a breastplate. This right here is used to keep the saddle from sliding back as you'd be going up the hill. The weight of yourself on the horse, and being that it's summer and they got nice short hair, they're pretty slick. So a lot of people use a breastplate to hold the saddle securely. This would be a halter used for tying the horse up. Come here. And the halter with the lead rope combination. You used to tie a horse up when you're trailering, when you're loaded in, and when you're stopping for lunch and stuff. Different parts of the saddle. This is optional equipment for this model horse. The optional equipment would be like a cinch. This type of cinch, if you notice, is pretty fuzzy, and it keeps the horse from getting chafed and getting gall marks. It's nice and soft on them, as some of the older mohair cinches can burn a horse. Different types of stirrups. Some people will go for a nice thin stirrup like this. Other people, like on this white horse, will use the thicker type of Visalia stirrups. You have the rear cinch, keeps the saddle, if the horse were to buck or move around, this cinch will help hold the saddle down. A lot of horses don't need it. A lot of riders prefer not to use it. The different headgear that would be used with the horse can vary from what I'm using today would be, this is called a boselle or a hackamore. Has no actual mouthpiece, whereas a horse like this white horse is using a snaffle bit or a variation on a snaffle bit. Some horses would use a curb bit. It all depends on what the rider wants to use for that day. Like on a trail ride, you're not going to be doing a lot of training. You want something that's going to be easy for the horse to carry in his mouth, easy for you to handle, since you're just going to be basically going down a road, stop, start type of, C-spot run, basic horse 101. We're about getting ready to head out, so see you guys later.
Them on Capistrano.
Oh, look out for that one.
Looking good.
All right, I'm Carlos Bunton, president of the Caballero del Camino Real Riding Club. We've had a beautiful 3 days of riding. We were out on Camp Pendleton, rode along the beach on Friday, had a beautiful time playing in the ocean with our horses. We rode into the rodeo grounds at Camp Pendleton on Friday evening, had a nice time there. Saturday we had a beautiful day, a little ride out, put up a dance floor, had the Tall Cotton Band, had a beautiful time Saturday night out there with the band. We're all a little under the weather today after all this workout, but we're happy to be here. And we just had a little close call out on the base. When I've talked to the military police, they were real good. They gave us a walkie-talkie to take along with us, and they came at different points and escorted us across the road, but one place they didn't. We had a 5-ton truck go sideways because he was speeding out there. That was about our only problem we had out there. I don't think anybody got hurt. Just had a good ride. I think we'll probably have about 100 riders coming off the hill today.
I personally am Tita Romero, and I'm from San Juan Capistrano, and I started riding with the organization in 1975. 1976 was a very good year. We had a lot of fun, and we've been doing it ever since. It's very gratifying and very rewarding to be able to do the same things that our forefathers did, our grandfathers and our grandparents. My costume isn't a native costume. It's something that we like to wear is because we like the cottons. Our original costume is a grass skirt with, that's it. Nothing else. We painted our bodies on the top of our bodies and just wore a skirt.
Well, these are made by Gary McClintock up in Descanso, and this is your traditional old shotguns. They really do work.
Not the ordinary BS stuff.
Well, I've been coming since 1978, and when I'm out on the trail, I look at the hills and think, were these the same way my grandfather, who rode with Pancho Villa? He was a head scout and the reason he was a head scout is because he knew all the trails and could get him places without anybody knowing, and it's kind of neat to think, I'm doing something the same thing he did, and it's been pretty fun, and we all have a good time. Everybody takes care of each other and pretty much obeys the rules and just has a real good time.
We have our soldiers in their soldier uniforms, and then we have our celebrities dressed up. We got Spanish ladies, we got Indian ladies. Our club was formed somewhere around 30 years ago for the mission just to do this ride, and it's a tradition thing, and it was done by the Spaniards, and they would come in and get permission to come in and stay for safety at the missions along the route up through Mexico into California and on up through into Northern California. They would stop along these missions. They're about a day ride in between each mission, and they were put that way on purpose so that they would have security when they get to these places for places to stay.
I'm dressed as a Northern Plains woman. They wore buckskins and beads. They wore beaded belts, the forerunner of the concha belt, and raccoon tails in my hair, trade bead necklace. The beads are probably 300 years old individually. They traded with the mountain men and with the trappers, and cowrie shells were traded, beads. I'm pretty typical, like 1860 to 1880.
The Indians in this area, everyone asks why don't we wear what the Indians in this area wore. They'd probably lock us up because all they wore was grass skirts and nothing else. So we can't wear those outfits.
We left home at 5 o'clock Friday morning because we had to be down at the beach by 6 o'clock and ready to ride by 8. We hit the beach about 9 o'clock and had about a 3-hour ride on the beach. Hit across the road, had lunch, rode all day long. By the time you get back to the stables, your legs are sore. You don't want to squeeze nothing, drink nothing, or eat nothing.
All I can say, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful sight to watch the people come down this hill into this mission. They'll have all kinds of costumes and probably at least 100 riders and maybe 125. So they are enjoying themselves, and really they're putting on a beautiful show for the people who will gather here to watch the festival.